Herpy lip. Steve Bannon is headed to the clink. I declare, honey. What a disgrace. So Steve Bannon, aka Herpy Lip, in his everyday shirt has been sentenced to 4 months in federal prison. As we know, back in July, Steve Bannon was convicted on 2 charges of contempt of Congress because he failed to show up to testify before the January 6th Select Committee. Federal prosecutors alleged that Steve in his black shirt never took the subpoena seriously, and then at the 11th hour, he came back and said that he wanted to testify. However, the ink was already dry on the paper, and they headed to trial where Steve Bannon was found guilty. Now, federal prosecutors did ask for Steve Bannon to be sentenced to 6 months. The judge took the latter and sentenced him to 4 months. The most he could serve on that charge was 1 year. The federal district judge ruled that Steve Bannon would also pay a $6,500 fine along with his 4-month sentence, allowing Bannon to serve jail for the contempt of Congress charge concurrently. And the judge also agreed to stay his ruling while Steve Bannon appeals his guilty plea. The Justice Department prosecutor argued that Bannon deserved a severe penalty for his wholesale resistance to the committee's subpoena, noting that he never lifted a finger to find a responsive document or appear in person to assert any potential privileges. As we know, Steve Bannon has always hid behind the aromas eroding from Frumpy Dump's taint, thinking that that will protect him. But again, at the 11th hour, Frumpy Dump's attorneys issued a statement on loose leaf paper saying, "Hey, Steve Bannon, it's time for you to go ahead and testify." But it was too late at that point, so Steve Bannon has been sentenced to 4 months, and this was his sentiments after the sentencing.
Today was my judgment day by the judge, and he stated for the appeal, we'll have a very vigorous appeals process. I've got a great legal team, and there'll be multiple areas of appeal. But, as that sign says right there, can we have the vote sign? On November 8th, on November 8th, there's going to have judgment on the illegitimate Biden regime, and quite frankly, Nancy Pelosi and the entire committee.
Now, President Biden was asked about Steve Bannon's sentence, and this is what the petty president had to say.
Being sentenced 4 months.
I never heard a reaction to Steve Bannon.
That's my petty president. I never have a reaction to Steve Bannon. Well, guess what, President Biden? You don't have to, but I do. And my reaction is to laugh my ass off. Frumpy Dump is not president. You can't backpedal and pussy pop out of this by getting a pardon. Your ass is going to the clean. All right, players. Put your thoughts in the comments about Steve Bannon and his everyday shirt headed to the clink. This is Double D Bowman reporting for the Black Accurate News, where I'm black and the news is petty but accurate.